I'll spend one night with my affair partner, and the other with you. That way, no one feels left out. That's what she said. Madison. My wife of 12 damn years. She stood in our bedroom, arms folded like she'd just delivered some brilliant idea, like this was a business deal and not the emotional execution of our marriage. I didn't say a word. I just stared at her. This wasn't a joke. She wasn't drunk. Her blue eyes were sharp, almost amused. Like she'd rehearsed this moment. Like she wanted to see me squirm. "You're being quiet," she said, smirking. "I thought you'd appreciate that I'm being honest for once." Honest? That word hit harder than a punch. This woman had lied for months, maybe years. Lied about where she went after work. Lied about her late-night girls' dinners. Lied while sleeping in my bed and calling me her rock. And now she was being honest? No. This wasn't honesty. This was war disguised as fairness. She turned her back to me, walked toward the mirror, and started adjusting her hair. "You've been so emotionally unavailable lately," she continued. "I deserve to feel wanted. Brent makes me feel alive." Brent. That name. The same guy she said was just a friend from the gym. The one who always sent fire emojis under her selfies. I should have known. "So, what?" I finally spoke. "You're just going to rotate us like we're F-King meal plans?" She turned around, not even offended. "If you want to be dramatic about it, sure," she said. "Or you can be an adult and accept it. You still get time with me. Most guys in your position get nothing." I felt the rage crawl up my throat like acid. But I didn't explode. I didn't throw her out. That's what she expected. Instead, I gave her exactly what she wanted. I nodded. "All right," I said, cold as stone. "Do what you need to do." She blinked, surprised I didn't fight. That threw her off. And right there, in that moment, I knew how I'd win. She thought this was power. She thought she'd keep me in her orbit, half a man while she played house with some ripped wannabe. But she didn't know me. Not really. She didn't know I'd been watching her. That I'd tracked her lies. That I'd already found the hotel receipts, the secret Instagram account, the second phone under the sink. She thought she was clever. But I was 3 steps ahead. What she didn't know was that while she was splitting her nights, I was preparing a one-time move she'd never forget. I let her go that night. Watched her walk out in that tight black dress, the one she used to wear for me, and drive off to another man's arms. I didn't stop her. I waited. Waited until the next morning, when she came home smiling. Hair messy. Makeup smudged. Looking like a cat that got the cream. "What?" she asked. "No kiss?" I handed her a folded envelope. She frowned, opened it, and went pale. Inside, a printed bank statement. Her texts to Brent. A copy of our prenup. And a letter from my attorney. No screaming. No slamming doors. Just consequences. And the look on her face? That was the first real emotion I'd seen from her in months. She opened her mouth to speak, but I was already walking away. She followed me down the hallway, barefoot, holding the papers in one hand and disbelief in the other. "What the hell is this, Jason?" Now she was using my name like it mattered. I didn't turn around. Didn't give her the satisfaction of seeing my face. She hadn't earned that anymore. Not after what she pulled. "You seriously hired a lawyer?" Her voice cracked, laced with a mix of shock and anger. "Over one night?" I turned, finally, just enough for her to see my eyes. "No, Madison. Over all the nights." That hit her. She stood frozen in the doorway, wearing my old college hoodie like she was still someone I should feel sorry for. Like she hadn't just admitted she was splitting her nights between me and some guy with abs and a spray tan. "You said you were fine with it," she muttered. "You nodded. You agreed." I lied, I said. How's that feel? Madison wasn't used to being outplayed. She'd always been the manipulator, the puppet master. The one who could twist any situation into her favor with a smile. A fake tear, or just a flash of skin. She thought she had me leashed, that I was too weak, too in love, too safe to ever make a move. But this time, she picked the wrong version of me to mess with. I don't get it, she said, walking toward me. You're really going to throw away our whole marriage over this? You said it yourself, we were drifting. Brent is just a release. I almost laughed. A release? I repeated. You mean sneaking out behind my back, feeding me lies while you warmed another man's bed? That's what you call a release? Don't be dramatic. Her words were bullets, sharp and dismissive. But I'd built armor now. Look, she continued, softening her tone like it mattered, we could fix this. You know? Set boundaries. Figure out what works. I'm not the villain here, Jason. You weren't present. You checked out emotionally a long time ago. There it was, the deflection. Every cheater's go-to script. You weren't there for me. As if emotional distance justifies betrayal. As if being neglected gives you a free pass to become someone else's plaything. Say what you want, I told her. But I didn't lie. I didn't cheat. I didn't break the vows. Her face twisted. The usual smug confidence was crumbling. You're really going through with this? She asked. I already did, I said. The house is no longer in both our names. The accounts are frozen. You'll be staying with Brent tonight, right? Good. Stay there. I already changed the locks. Her jaw dropped. Are you serious? You wanted one night with him, one night with me, I said. Well, Brent gets all your nights now. I'm done. She walked closer, trying to switch tactics again. Jason, come on. You're acting like a stranger. That's funny, I said. I was just thinking the same thing about you. The air between us went silent. Thick with the realization that this time, she wasn't in control. I grabbed my coat and walked past her toward the front door. I'll be staying at a hotel. Lawyer will reach out tomorrow. She didn't move. Didn't chase after me. Maybe she thought I was bluffing. She was wrong. Because the next morning, Madison woke up to a different reality. My clothes, gone. My computer, wiped. Every shared document, every account, already redirected or closed. She tried calling. I didn't answer. She tried texting. I blocked her. She even came by my office crying, for the first time in forever, actual tears. Not for what she did. But because she lost the one person dumb enough to forgive her. Too late. That version of me, the fool who believed in her, died the night she looked me in the eyes and said, "One night with him. One night with you." 2 days passed before I heard from her again. This time, it wasn't a smug message or some sweet little lie wrapped in lipstick and perfume. It was a voicemail, her voice cracking, not from guilt, but from fear. "Jason, what are you doing? Brent doesn't want this kind of drama. He's freaking out. He said you sent someone to his work. Jason, stop. Please. We need to talk. I didn't send anyone. I didn't have to." The truth was already doing the damage for me. All I did was forward screenshots, her messages, their selfies, hotel receipts, to Brent's girlfriend. Yes, he was cheating, too. And his girl? A fiery brunette named Taylor who did not take betrayal lightly. Turns out she was the co-owner of his real estate firm. Now that was poetic justice. By the time Madison realized the dominoes were falling, it was too late. Brent ghosted her, deleted his socials, and stopped answering her calls. Suddenly, her grand open relationship fantasy crumbled like wet paper. She showed up at my sister's place, where I was staying, in tears. I opened the door and stared at her like she was a stranger on the street. Jason, I messed up, she whispered. Please, can we just talk? No lawyers, no games. Just you and me. She looked pathetic. No makeup. Hoodie. Mascara stains under her eyes. For a moment, a really stupid moment, I remembered the woman I married, the version of her that used to laugh at my dumb jokes and fall asleep on my chest. But then I remembered the smirk. The smirk she wore when she told me she was splitting nights like she was choosing outfits. You want to talk? I said. Fine. Let's talk. Sit down. She walked in like a ghost, slow, unsure, scared of what I'd say next. I thought we were done, Jason. You didn't even fight for us anymore. You were distant. No, I interrupted. You wanted me to be distant. Because it made you feel less guilty. She looked down, silent. You knew what you were doing. You planned it. Lied. Hid it. And when I found out? You tried to sell it to me like it was a damn timeshare. It was never about love, she said. It was about needing something different. Brent made me feel alive again. I chuckled coldly. You needed excitement, so you traded loyalty for lust? Madison's voice rose. I'm not the villain here. You neglected me emotionally for months. You shut down after your dad died, you weren't present. I slammed my hand on the table. She jumped. Don't you dare blame this on my grief. My father was dying in a hospital bed while you were out playing house with some gym rat. You want to talk about neglect? Try being married to someone who checked out the second she stopped being the center of attention. She went quiet again. That silence was the only honest thing she'd given me in months. I didn't cheat because you were distant, she whispered eventually. I cheated because I thought you wouldn't leave. Boom. There it was. The truth. Finally. She thought I was weak. That I'd take anything just to keep the marriage alive. That no matter how many times she stepped out, I'd be waiting with open arms and dead eyes. But she underestimated me. Pack your things, I said. I'll give you an hour. Her face turned white. What? You heard me. 1 hour. You don't live here anymore. But where am I supposed to go? I don't know, Madison. Maybe go find Brent. Oh wait, right. He dumped you. That was the last time she saw me angry. After that, I wasn't mad. I was done. And when a man is done, he's more dangerous than when he's furious. Because he no longer needs to raise his voice to make his point. She stood there for nearly the whole hour. Not packing. Not moving. Just blinking, like the world around her had glitched and she couldn't believe it wasn't going back to how it was. I didn't flinch. I watched her from the hallway as she finally started throwing clothes into a duffel bag, messy, frantic, like she couldn't even believe her own hands were doing it. No more control. No more lipstick lies and fake tears that used to twist my gut. She tried to speak again. Jason, this can't be how we end. Not like this. Not with hate. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. It didn't end with hate, Madison. It ended the moment you decided I wasn't enough. She scoffed. You think you're so righteous now. You're not perfect, either. You shut down. You got boring. I was dying inside. I stepped forward. Then you leave. Like a grown woman. You talk. You try. You don't sneak out to hotel rooms while your husband's at home paying your car insurance. She turned away. Truth hurts. When she zipped up the bag and turned back toward me, I saw it, resentment. Not guilt. Not sorrow. Just rage that I had the nerve to call her bluff and actually walk away. I gave you everything, she spat. You gave me half, I replied. Half your love. Half your loyalty. Half your body. Half your nights. And now? You get nothing. She stormed past me, duffel over her shoulder, her perfume trailing behind like the last trace of a ghost I used to love. The door slammed. I didn't chase. Didn't collapse. Just sat on the couch where we used to cuddle, drink wine, talk about the future. Now, I was already rebuilding one without her. I won't lie, that first night alone wasn't easy. Silence can be the loudest thing when your mind won't shut up. Every creak in the house reminded me of her heels. Every damn song on the radio suddenly had new meaning. But then came the second night. And it was quiet. Peacefully quiet. No late-night texts she'd hide. No anxiety about what excuse she'd use next. No more pretending I didn't notice the emotional landmine my marriage had become. I poured myself a drink, sat down at my desk, and started writing everything down. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every moment I looked the other way because I loved her too much to admit she didn't love me the same anymore. I sent it all to my lawyer. Evidence. Cold, clinical, undeniable. The kind that leaves no room for misunderstandings or emotional confusion. She could cry to her friends. Spin her story online. But in court? Only facts matter. Then I did something she didn't expect. I smiled. Not a forced one. Not a bitter smirk. A real smile. Because I realized, she freed me. In trying to break me, she cracked the cage she'd built around my life. And on the other side of that wreckage, I saw something I hadn't felt in years. Control. Not over her. Not over revenge. Over me. That night, I deleted our photos. Every anniversary dinner. Every fake happy vacation selfie. Every blurry image where I was smiling while she was probably texting Brent in the background. Gone. I backed up the ones with family. Cropped her out. There was this one photo, from our 10th anniversary, where she was kissing my cheek while I looked off into the distance. I always thought it was romantic. Now I saw the truth. Even then, I wasn't really there. Not in her eyes. She had already left the marriage. I just hadn't gotten the memo yet. 3 days after I kicked her out, Madison showed up at my office. Not unannounced, uninvited. I was walking out for lunch when I saw her standing by the front entrance, arms folded, big sunglasses hiding her eyes, but not her expression. She looked like a woman used to getting her way, just waiting for the right moment to flip the script. Jason, she said, stepping forward like this was some casual reunion. I didn't stop. I kept walking. Jason, please, just hear me out, she said louder, trying to block my path. I looked around. People were watching. My coworkers. Clients. I didn't care. You're not supposed to be here, I said coldly. You want to talk? Go through my lawyer. She grabbed my arm. That was a mistake. Don't touch me, I said, voice calm but sharp enough to cut steel. Her mouth trembled. That look in her eyes, part rage, part desperation, told me this wasn't the confident, manipulative woman from last week. This was a crumbling ego clinging to the last shred of control. I made a mistake, she whispered. Which one? I asked. The cheating? The lying? The smug proposal where you split your time between me and Brent like we were some pathetic rotation? I panicked, she snapped. I thought if I lost both of you, I'd have nothing. I let out a dry laugh. Madison, you already had everything. And you threw it away for a cheap thrill with a guy who sells overpriced condos and wears skinny jeans. That hit her. She flinched. Brent blocked me, she admitted. He said this was too messy. He thinks I'm crazy now. Good, I said. So do I. She took a shaky breath. Jason. I'm sorry. Really. I know I said things I shouldn't have. I know what I did broke us. But I was hurting, too. I just didn't know how to say it. Don't twist this into a two-way street, I said. You cheated. You betrayed. You played both sides like a game. This isn't miscommunication. It's disrespect. And now you're mad because you didn't expect consequences. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I miss you. No, Madison, I said, looking her dead in the eyes. You miss the version of me that tolerated your crap. Her lips parted, but no words came out. For the first time in years, she had nothing. No comeback. No tears. Just silence. I walked past her. And she let me. That night, she texted me. Can we please meet for coffee? Just to talk. One last time. I didn't reply. The next morning, she posted some vague quote on her Instagram story. Sometimes you don't realize how much you love someone until they're gone. And right below it, a selfie with puffy eyes and fake vulnerability. Classic Madison. Always performing. But the comments still came rolling in. You deserve better, Queen. Men don't know how to handle strong women. Let him go, girl. You're glowing. She didn't tell them the real story. That she was the cheater. The liar. The one who treated her husband like a backup plan. But I didn't care anymore. Because while she was chasing sympathy online, I was regaining myself. Sleeping better. Eating again. Lifting heavier at the gym. Laughing, for real. Every day without her felt like oxygen coming back into my lungs. I wasn't just surviving, I was living again. And that? That was the revenge she never saw coming. I thought she was done. I thought that stunt at my office was her final act, the last scene in a drama she'd been directing for far too long. But of course, I underestimated her hunger for attention. A week after the incident at my workplace, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then the voicemail came through. Jason. It's Madison. I'm pregnant. I stood in the middle of my kitchen, phone in hand, heart dead still. She had to be lying. Right? I replayed the message. Her voice was trembling, soft, and just calculated enough to sound broken, the exact pitch she'd used the first time she faked tears during one of our fights. That was Madison's specialty: cry, twist, reframe, control. I didn't respond. But the seed of doubt was there. What if? 2 hours later, another voicemail. I'm not asking for anything from you, okay? I just thought you deserved to know. I don't even know if it's yours. Boom. There it was. I played that line 5 times. She didn't even know. That confirmed it. There it was, in her own words, the mess she created bleeding into real life now. Her cute little affair wasn't just a temporary thrill anymore. It had consequences. I sent the message to my lawyer. His response was clear. Don't say anything. Let her file first if she's serious. If she tries to list you as the father, we'll demand a paternity test immediately. Until then, silence. So I stayed silent. Madison, however, did not. She started texting me at midnight, then 2 a.m., then 5:14 a.m. One message after another, swinging between. Please talk to me. You're a coward for abandoning your child. You don't even care, do you? It's Brent's. I hope he's a better father than you. That last one made me smile. Brent. She still hadn't learned. Still chasing the same guy who dumped her the moment things got hard. She probably thought she could scare me, pull me back in with panic. But the old Jason, the one she could manipulate with a fake cry and some half-dressed apology, was dead and buried. A few nights later, I went to a local bar with some friends. Nothing wild, just guys I hadn't seen in months. I told them the story. Every detail. And you know what they said? You should be thanking her. I almost laughed. But they were right. She showed me who she was. No more illusions. No more pretending she was some loyal, wounded wife lost in a loveless marriage. She was selfish. Entitled. A woman who thought cheating could be negotiated. And now she was alone. When I left the bar that night, I walked past the parking lot, and guess who was leaning against her car, arms crossed? Madison. She didn't say anything at first. Just stared. "You followed me now?" I asked. She shrugged. "You've been ignoring me. There's a reason for that." She walked closer. "I'm keeping the baby. Whether it's yours or not." "Good for you," I said. "Just make sure you know who the father is before you start sending threats." Her jaw clenched. She wasn't expecting me to be calm. "I still love you, Jason. You loved control. You loved comfort. You never loved me, you loved what I gave you." She flinched. I stepped closer, lowered my voice. "You want closure? Watch me move on without you." Then I walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't care if she cried. Because this wasn't my heartbreak anymore, it was her wake-up call. And I wasn't her safety net anymore. It had been 2 weeks since our last face-to-face encounter. 2 weeks of silence. 2 weeks without her name lighting up my phone, without any of her fake vulnerability or desperate theatrics. I thought maybe, just maybe, she had finally realized the show was over. But Madison doesn't know when to stop. I was sitting at my desk one morning, going through emails, when a notification popped up. Tagged in a post. It was her. Public. Strategic. The photo? A carefully edited shot of her with a visible baby bump, barely noticeable, but posed just enough to stir curiosity. The caption? "Starting a new chapter. Sometimes life doesn't go how you planned, but you learn to embrace the chaos." Dizzy. The comments exploded. "You're glowing. You'll be an amazing mom. Is Jason the dad?" Eyes. She didn't respond. She didn't have to. The ambiguity was intentional. It was bait. And I refused to bite. Until my mother called. "Jason, is there something you're not telling us?" That was the last straw. I showed up at Madison's place the next morning. She opened the door in leggings and one of my old hoodies, the audacity, with no shame in her eyes. Just that same manipulative calm she always wore like perfume. Well, she said, stepping aside. "Did the Instagram post finally get your attention?" "I'm not here to play games, Madison," I snapped. "If I see one more post implying I'm the father of your mystery baby, I will sue you for defamation." "Oh, please." She rolled her eyes. "I never said it was yours. People just assume things." "Because you want them to," I shot back. "You're trying to drag me through the mud to stay relevant. You think playing the poor abandoned mother will make people forget you cheated." "People make mistakes," she said. "But you walked away like a coward." "I walked away like a man who finally saw the truth." She crossed her arms, trying to hold the last of her crumbling pride together. "You really think you're innocent in all this? You were emotionally distant for months before I ever met Brent. You shut down. You treated me like I was invisible." I leaned in. "No. I treated you like someone I trusted. Like a woman who would never stab me in the back just because she got bored." She didn't answer. I continued. "You're not the victim here. You're the villain trying to rewrite the ending." Her voice dropped. "I thought you'd fight for me." That made me laugh. "You thought I'd fight Brent for you? That I'd fight for the right to be your runner-up? I'm not a consolation prize, Madison. I'm the man you lost because you were too busy chasing attention." She looked away, the cracks finally showing. But I wasn't done. "I've got the paperwork ready," I said. "Paternity test, restraining order if you keep pushing this crap online, and a formal request to stop using my name for your clout." She tried one last time. "You're really this cold now?" "No," I said, stepping back. "I'm just finally warm somewhere else." And that was true. Because what she didn't know was that for the first time in over a year, I'd started seeing someone. Not serious, not yet, but different. Honest. Simple. No games. Just peace. And after the hurricane that was Madison, peace felt like the most intoxicating thing in the world. As I left her house, she stood in the doorway, still hoping I'd turn around. I didn't. Because this wasn't about getting the last word. It was about showing her she no longer had one. 6 months. That's how long it's been since I left Madison standing in her doorway, stunned, empty, clutching a fake narrative like it could somehow rewrite reality. And in those 6 months, everything changed. Not all at once. Not dramatically. But piece by piece, I rebuilt the version of me she tried to destroy. I moved into a new apartment downtown, nothing fancy, just mine. No shared closets, no ghost memories in the corners of the room. The silence was no longer haunting, it was healing. I filled the space with my own rhythm. Mornings with black coffee and no drama. Evenings where I didn't wonder who she was texting or lying to. Nights where I actually slept. Madison didn't vanish completely. No, people like her never do. They linger, always trying to claw their way back into relevance. She'd post vague quotes on her story, always about growth, rebirth, or betrayal. Some aimed at me. Most, probably meant for herself. I heard through mutuals that she moved in with her sister. Brent disappeared, left the city, some say. Others claim he ghosted her the moment he found out she might be pregnant. No one knows if the baby was his or not. And frankly, I didn't care anymore. My paternity test came back negative. That was the last chain cut. But the real turning point? That came one quiet Sunday afternoon when I got a message from an unknown number. It wasn't Madison. It was Taylor, Brent's ex. The woman I'd unknowingly helped by exposing Madison's affair. Hey. I just wanted to say thank you. What you sent me saved me years of lies. I left Brent, sold my half of the business, and started over in Colorado. If you ever want to talk, no drama, no pity, just coffee, let me know. I smiled. Not because I was interested in anything romantic, though she was beautiful, strong, and probably more honest than anyone I'd known in years, but because finally, something real came out of this wreckage. A week later, I took her up on that coffee. And you know what? We didn't talk about betrayal. We didn't talk about Madison or Brent. We talked about books. Skiing. Food. Life. It wasn't a therapy session. It wasn't a rebound. It was just two people who had been through the same storm, sitting in the sun. That's when it hit me. Madison didn't ruin me. She revealed me. She tore away every illusion I clung to. Every excuse I made for her. Every blind eye I turned in the name of love. And when she shattered the life we built, she gave me the chance to build one without lies. Stronger. Simpler. Free. One evening, I got a final message from her. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find happiness. I never meant to lose you. Take care. No manipulation this time. No blame. Just silence afterward. And that was good enough for me. I didn't reply. Because closure isn't something you get from the person who broke you. It's something you find when you stop looking for them to fix it. So, to any man out there who's sitting in the dark, wondering how the hell it all fell apart, here's my advice. Let it fall. Let it burn if it has to. Because the ashes don't mean the end. They're just proof that something fake is gone, and what comes next can finally be real. I lost a wife. But I found myself. And that's worth everything.